Throughout the late 20th century, Japan produced a surprising range of high-performance machines, often overshadowed by more famous icons. These vehicles combined aggressive styling with turbocharged or high-revving engines, and they reflected an experimental spirit unique to their era. Many were created to satisfy racing homologation rules, which meant they offered advanced technology far beyond typical road cars. Wide fenders, intercoolers, lightweight chassis, and electronic driver aids were common.
Don't forget to subscribe. Number 10.
The 1981 Toyota Supra A60 represents a key moment in Toyota's development as a manufacturer of performance-oriented vehicles. Originally, the Supra name began as an upscale and more powerful version of the Toyota Celica. The first generation, the A40, was essentially a lengthened Celica designed to accommodate a larger six-cylinder engine. However, with the introduction of the second generation in 1981, known as the A60, the Supra began to take on its own identity as a distinct sports car. The automotive industry in the early 1980s was shaped by competing demands for fuel efficiency, stricter emissions regulations, and the continuing desire among consumers for stylish, performance-oriented models. The A60 was Toyota's response to this environment. It aimed to combine Japanese precision and reliability with the image and driving experience of a grand touring sports coupe. The model allowed Toyota to compete more directly with rivals such as the Nissan 280ZX and Mazda RX-7, as well as with affordable coupes from American and European manufacturers. Design was a defining feature of the A60. The car adopted sharp, angular lines characteristic of the era, with retractable pop-up headlights and a long, low hood that projected an image of speed. The fastback rear profile enhanced aerodynamics while also reinforcing its sporty proportions. Inside, the cabin displayed Toyota's growing interest in driver-focused design. Many versions offered digital instrumentation and modern controls that reflected the futuristic aesthetic of the early 1980s. This combination of advanced styling and ergonomic layout gave the Supra an appeal that was both practical and aspirational. Mechanically, the Supra A60 represented a step forward for Toyota. The car was equipped with inline-six engines, most notably the 2.8-liter 5MGE. This engine featured electronic fuel injection and dual overhead camshafts, which were considered advanced technologies for the time. While its power output was modest compared with later performance cars, the engine delivered smooth operation, respectable torque, and reliable performance. Buyers could choose between manual and automatic transmissions, giving the model versatility for different markets and preferences. Handling and chassis design were equally important to the A60's identity. Independent suspension at all four corners marked a significant improvement over older designs and allowed the Supra to compete with contemporary sports cars in terms of ride and cornering ability. Some versions were also fitted with limited slip differentials, further enhancing traction and performance.
Number 9.
The Nissan Skyline occupies one of the most iconic places in Japanese automotive history, and the generations R30, R31, and R32 are especially significant. Between 1981 and 1994, these three Skylines illustrate how Nissan evolved from producing a sporty coupe with modern styling to creating one of the most advanced and legendary performance cars of its era. The R30 generation was introduced in 1981. It marked a decisive step for Nissan in moving toward high technology and stronger motorsport identity. The design followed the sharp and angular style of the early 1980s, with straight body lines, rectangular headlamps, and a more aggressive stance compared to its predecessor. Among its most famous versions was the Paul Newman Edition, a special model named after the American actor and racing driver who promoted Nissan in international markets. This highlighted the Skyline's image as both fashionable and performance-oriented. The most important engineering innovation in the R30 was the introduction of the FJ20 engine. It was one of the first Japanese production engines to feature electronic fuel injection combined with dual overhead camshafts. The turbocharged versions, FJ20ET and FJ20DET, delivered impressive power for the time and made the Skyline a true rival to other Japanese and European sports coupes. The R30 was also active in motorsport, especially touring car championships, where it began building a reputation that would later culminate in the GTR legend. The R31 arrived in 1985 and represented Nissan's move toward larger and more advanced vehicles. Visually, it retained angular styling but grew in size, reflecting the design language of the mid-1980s. More importantly, the R31 introduced the RB series engines, which would later become legendary. The RB20DET, a 2-liter turbocharged inline-six, offered strong performance and enormous potential for future development. This engine family would power the Skylines well into the 1990s and beyond. The R31 was also notable for debuting advanced electronic systems. The Atessa all-wheel drive system was introduced in experimental form, marking the beginning of Nissan's work on intelligent traction management. Another innovation was the Heika system, an electronically controlled rear-wheel steering mechanism designed to improve handling. Together, these technologies showed Nissan's ambition to combine raw performance with sophisticated engineering. A highlight of the R31 range was the GTSR model, produced in a limited number for Group A touring car homologation. Equipped with the RB20DET-R engine and a larger turbocharger, it achieved significant success in motorsport. The GTSR demonstrated Nissan's intention to compete internationally, paving the way for the more dominant R32 that followed. The R32 Skyline, introduced in 1989, is perhaps the most celebrated generation in the entire Skyline lineage. It reflected a major leap in both design and engineering. The styling became smoother and more aerodynamic, moving away from the angular forms of the past decade. The chassis was engineered to deliver not only performance, but also the stability required for high-speed racing.
Number 8.
The Mazda RX-7 is one of the most distinctive sports cars in automotive history, defined by its use of the rotary engine. Introduced in 1978, the RX-7 quickly became a symbol of Mazda's engineering creativity and its determination to stand apart from other manufacturers. Across its 3 generations, the RX-7 combined lightweight construction, sharp handling, and a unique power plant to earn a legendary reputation among enthusiasts. The first generation, known as the SA/FB, and produced from 1978 to 1985, established the formula. It was a compact and lightweight sports coupe, powered by Mazda's 12A rotary engine. Unlike conventional piston engines, the rotary design was small and smooth, allowing the car to be both agile and distinctive in performance. The early RX-7 delivered modest horsepower, but excelled through balance and driver engagement. Its design featured classic long hood, short deck proportions, making it instantly recognizable. The model proved successful in global markets, particularly in North America, where it was priced competitively against larger sports cars. Motorsport success played a key role in building the RX-7's reputation. The car achieved victories in IMSA racing in the United States, where its reliability and cornering ability allowed it to challenge much more powerful rivals. This racing pedigree elevated the RX-7 beyond a niche curiosity into a respected performance car with real-world achievements.
Number 7.
The Mitsubishi Starion is one of the most notable Japanese sports coupes of the 1980s, remembered for its turbocharged power, distinctive styling, and role in shaping the image of Mitsubishi as a performance-oriented manufacturer. Introduced in 1982, the Starion was developed to compete directly with popular rear-wheel drive sports cars such as the Toyota Supra, Mazda RX-7, and Nissan Z Series. It combined advanced engineering with bold design, and though it never achieved the sales success of its rivals, the Starion remains a respected classic among enthusiasts. The design of the Starion reflected the sharp and angular aesthetic of the decade. Early versions featured narrow bodies with clean lines and pop-up headlights, which gave the car a futuristic character. Later models adopted wide-body fender flares and larger wheels, creating a more aggressive stance that has become iconic among collectors today. These wide-body versions were often referred to as fat-body Starions and were homologated for motorsport use. Inside, the cabin offered a driver-focused layout with modern digital displays on some versions, highlighting Mitsubishi's interest in advanced technology. Under the hood, the Starion was powered primarily by a range of 4-cylinder turbocharged engines. The most common was the 2.0-liter Sirius engine, though in North America and some other markets, a larger 2.6-liter version was used. The use of turbocharging gave the Starion a strong balance of performance and efficiency at a time when many manufacturers were exploring force induction as a way to combine power with fuel economy. Depending on market and specification, output ranged from around 150 to over 200 horsepower, competitive for the period. The chassis of the Starion was engineered with performance in mind. Rear-wheel drive, independent suspension, and disc brakes all around gave the part excellent handling potential. Wide-body models in particular were equipped with larger wheels and tires, improving grip and stability. Many versions also featured limited slip differentials, enhancing traction and making the Starion a capable sports coupe both on the road and on the track. Motorsport played an important role in the Starion's identity. Mitsubishi entered the car into international racing, especially Group A touring car championships. Wide-body Starions were seen in competition across Europe, Asia, and Australia, where they demonstrated strong performance against rivals such as the BMW 635 CSI and Nissan Skyline. While not always dominant, the Starion helped Mitsubishi establish a performance reputation that would later continue with models like the Lancer Evolution.
Number 6.
The Nissan 300ZX is one of the most significant Japanese sports cars of the 1980s and 1990s, known for combining advanced technology, strong performance, and a distinctive design. As part of the Nissan Z car lineage, the 300ZX carried forward the legacy of the 240Z, 260Z, and 280ZX while adapting to the demands of a new era. Across its two generations, it became both a commercial success and a technological showcase. The first generation, coded Z31, was introduced in 1983. It represented a complete redesign of the Z car, adopting more angular styling in line with the decade's trends. Pop-up headlights, sharp body lines, and a modernized interior set it apart from the earlier, rounder Z cars of the 1970s. Under the hood, the Z31 was powered by the VG30 series of V6 engines. This was a major change, as earlier Z cars had relied on inline-six engines. The new 3.0-liter V6 provided smoother performance, better packaging, and a strong base for both naturally aspirated and turbocharged versions. The turbocharged 300ZX Turbo offered competitive power, placing it in direct rivalry with cars such as the Toyota Supra, Mazda RX-7, and Mitsubishi Starion. With rear-wheel drive, independent suspension, and available limited slip differential, the Z31 was capable of delivering exciting driving dynamics. It was also relatively refined, offering comfort features that broadened its appeal to buyers who wanted both performance and everyday usability. In 1989, Nissan introduced the second generation, the Z32. This model is often regarded as the peak of the Z car line. Its styling moved away from angular forms and adopted a lower, wider, and more aerodynamic shape. The design was modern and timeless, with smooth surfaces and integrated bumpers that still look contemporary today. Inside, the Z32 featured a driver-focused cockpit with advanced instrumentation and high-quality materials, emphasizing Nissan's desire to compete with European sports cars. The engineering of the Z32 was equally as impressive. The car was powered by updated versions of the VG30DE and VG30DTT engines.
Number 5. The Toyota Corolla is one of the most important and successful automobiles in history.
Since its debut in 1966, it has become a symbol of reliability, affordability, and global accessibility. Across more than 50 years and multiple generations, the Corolla has transformed from a compact economy car into a worldwide bestseller that reflects Toyota's philosophy of building practical, durable, and efficient vehicles for the mass market. The original Corolla appeared in Japan during the mid-1960s, a time when the country was experiencing rapid economic growth and increasing demand for private cars. Designed as a compact sedan, it offered an affordable price, simple mechanics, and strong fuel efficiency. The first-generation Corolla quickly found success, helping Toyota expand its export markets, especially in North America and Europe. By combining Japanese engineering with affordability, the model appealed to a wide range of customers who needed reliable transportation. Through the 1970s and 1980s, the Corolla continued to evolve. Each generation introduced updated styling, improved safety, and more efficient engines. Toyota's focus was always on practicality and durability, which allowed the Corolla to develop a reputation as a car that could run for hundreds of thousands of kilometers with minimal issues. This reliability became one of Toyota's strongest selling points globally. During this period, the Corolla also diversified into multiple body styles, including sedan, coupe, wagon, and hatchback, giving buyers more flexibility. The 1980s were especially important because the Corolla nameplate also produced performance-oriented versions such as AE86. This lightweight, rear-wheel drive coupe became famous for its handling balance and affordability. While most Corolla models prioritized economy, the AE86 demonstrated that the platform could also deliver excitement. It gained a lasting place in car culture, especially in drifting and motorsport, and is still celebrated by enthusiasts today.
Number 4. The Toyota Celica XX, known outside Japan as the first generations of the Toyota Supra, represents a key stage in Toyota's shift toward producing grand touring sports cars. Introduced in 1978, the Celica XX was developed to meet rising demand for larger, more powerful coupes while still retaining the style and accessibility of the popular Celica line. It served as a bridge between compact sports cars of the 1970s and the more sophisticated performance models of the 1980s. The fundamental change that distinguished the Celica XX from the standard Celica was the adoption of 6-cylinder engines. Whereas the regular Celica was powered by 4-cylinder units, the XX was engineered with a lengthened chassis to accommodate Toyota's inline 6. This immediately positioned it as a more refined and capable vehicle, aimed at buyers who wanted comfort and prestige alongside sportiness. In Japan, it became one of the earliest attempts by Toyota to compete in the segment dominated by European coupes and the emerging wave of Japanese grand tourers. Design was central to the car's identity. The Celica XX retained the fastback silhouette of the Celica, but adopted a longer hood, more imposing proportions, and, in later models, features such as pop-up headlights. These styling cues emphasize the idea of power and presence on the road. Inside, Toyota equipped the model with advanced instrumentation and luxury-oriented features, including digital displays in some versions. This balance of sport and comfort was critical to its appeal. Mechanically, the Celica XX evolved rapidly. Early models offered engines such as the MEEU, and later the more advanced 5MGE, which introduced double overhead camshafts and electronic fuel injection. While power outputs by modern standards were modest, these engines delivered smooth performance and reliable operation, consistent with Toyota's engineering reputation. The combination of rear-wheel drive, independent suspension, and balanced chassis dynamics gave the XX competent handling, suitable both for spirited driving and everyday use.
Number 3.
The Nissan Leopard was a luxury-oriented sports coupe produced between the early 1980s and the mid-1990s. Positioned above Nissan's regular sedans and coupes, it represented the company's effort to create a vehicle that combined performance with comfort, aimed at a growing class of buyers who desired both prestige and technology. Although not as globally recognized as the Skyline or Z-Cars, the Leopard played an important role in shaping Nissan's image of sophistication and engineering innovation. The first generation, introduced in 1980, was built on the same platform as the Nissan Skyline and Laurel. It featured sharp angular styling typical of the era, with a long hood and short rear deck that emphasized elegance and power. The car was available as both a coupe and the four-door hardtop, appealing to customers who wanted either sportiness or practicality. Inside, the Leopard offered high levels of equipment for its time, including digital instrument clusters, advanced climate control, and other electronic features that reflected Nissan's focus on modernity. Engines for the early Leopard included both inline-4s and six-cylinder units, but the most significant versions were powered by turbocharged engines. The availability of turbocharging gave the Leopard strong performance credentials, placing it alongside other emerging Japanese Grand Tours. Rear-wheel drive, independent suspension, and advanced braking systems provided balance between comforts and handling. This combination of power and refinement made the Leopard stand out in the domestic Japanese market. The second generation, released in 1986, marked the move toward greater luxury. Styling became more rounded and aerodynamic, following trends of the late 1980s. This generation focused heavily on advanced electronics, with some models offering voice warning systems, high-end stereo equipment, and further developments of digital instrumentation. Under the hood, Nissan offered a variety of engines, including the VG30 DET, a turbocharged V6 that delivers strong performance and demonstrated Nissan's engineering capability. A significant aspect of the Leopard's identity was its relationship to export markets. In the United States, the Leopard was sold as the Infiniti M30 during the early 1990s. Although marketed primarily as a luxury coupe, the M30 retained much of the Leopard's balance between sport and comfort. However, outside Japan, it did not achieve wide recognition, partly because of limited marketing and competition from European brands. By the time of the third and fourth generations in the 1990s, the Leopard has shifted more firmly into the luxury segment, with less emphasis on sportiness and more on refinement. Yet its early versions, particularly those with turbocharged engines, maintained a loyal following amongst enthusiasts who appreciated its mix of advanced features and strong performance. The Nissan Leopard represents a distinctive chapter in the company's history. It showed Nissan's ability to combine luxury and technology in a single package, offering a car that was both sophisticated and powerful.
Number 2. The Mazda Luce Legato was a premium sedan produced during the late 1970s and early 1980s, representing Mazda's attempt to enter the executive car market with a blend of Japanese engineering and Western-inspired design. Known internationally as the Mazda 929, the Luce Legato embodied a balance between comfort, refinement, and understated performance, serving as the brand's flagship before the introduction of models like the Mazda Sentia. The name Luce, meaning light in Italian, had been used by Mazda since the 1960s for its upscale line of sedans. By the time the Legato appeared in 1977, Mazda was positioning itself to compete with larger Japanese rivals such as the Toyota Crown and Nissan Cedric. The Legato was developed to appeal to middle and upper-class buyers who desired prestige and luxury features, but still wanted the reliability and economy of a Japanese vehicle. Styling was a key element of the Luce Legato's identity. The car's design displayed clear influences from European sedan of the 1970s, with a long hood, squared-off roofline, and formal proportions that emphasized dignity and authority. Clean surfaces, sharp lines, and large chrome details reinforced its premium image. Inside, the cabin was equipped with plush seating, wood-like trim, and advanced conveniences for the time, including climate control and modern audio systems. The emphasis was on creating a refined driving environment rather than a purely sporting machine. Mechanically, the Luce Legato was versatile. It was offered with a range of powertrains, including traditional inline-4 and inline-6 engines, as well as rotary engines, which were Mazda's technological hallmark. The availability of the 13B rotary in a luxury sedan was unusual and highlighted Mazda's commitment to promoting the rotary as a practical and powerful alternative to piston engines. While rotary versions provided smooth and unique performance, they were less fuel efficient, which limited their long-term popularity. The chassis employed rear-wheel drive and a suspension designed to balance comfort with stability. Though not a sports car, the Luce Legato delivered respectable handling for a large sedan of its time. In Japan, higher-grade versions were often used as executive vehicles, taxis, or chauffeur-driven cars, emphasizing the role as reliable and comfortable transport rather than performance icons. The Luce Legato also reflected Mazda's ambition in export markets. In regions such as North America, it was sold under the 929 nameplate, where it competed as an affordable alternative to European luxury sedans. While it never achieved the same recognition as the Toyota or Nissan luxury offerings, it helped Mazda establish credibility in the upper segments of the market. Today, the Mazda Luce Legato is remembered as an important step in Mazda's evolution. It combined the company's signature rotary technology with the focus on comfort and elegance, serving as a precursor to later Mazda luxury models. Though overshadowed by more famous sports cars in Mazda's history, the Luce Legato holds a distinctive place as a symbol of the brand's ambitions in the premium automotive world.
Number 1. The Honda Integra is a compact sports coupe and sedan that played a central role in establishing Honda's reputation for performance and innovation during the 1980s and 1990s. First introduced in 1985, the Integra was positioned above the Civic in Honda's lineup, offering more power, sharper handling, and a more upscale image. It quickly became a favorite among enthusiasts for its combination of reliability, affordability, and driving excitement. The first generation, produced between 1985 and 1989, was sold in both hatchback and sedan forms. Its design was clean and angular, reflecting the aesthetic trends of the mid-1980s. Under the hood, the Integra was powered by Honda's innovative DOHC engines, which were rare in compact cars of the time. These high-revving four-cylinder engines set the stage for Honda's reputation as a builder of technologically advanced and spirited powertrains. The second generation, introduced in 1989, marked a significant leap forward. With smoother styling and more aerodynamic lines, it looked more refined while still projecting a sporty character. This generation became especially notable for introducing VTEC, variable valve timing and left electronic control. In the early 1990s, the B16A engine, available in performance trims, was one of the first to use this system, allowing the engine to combine efficiency at low RPM with strong power at high RPM. This innovation became a hallmark of Honda engineering and a defining feature of the Integra. The third generation, produced from 1993 to 2001, is often regarded as the most iconic. Its design balanced simplicity with purposeful aggression, particularly in the three-door hatchback version. In this era, the Integra reached its peak with a Type R variant. The Integra Type R was fitted with a hand-built B18C engine, producing around 200 horsepower from just 1.8 liters, making it one of the highest specific output naturally aspirated engines of its time. With a lightweight chassis, stiffened suspension, and improved aerodynamics, the Type R earned a reputation as one of the best handling front-wheel drive cars ever made. Motorsport success further boosted the Integra's reputation. The car competed in touring car championships, endurance races, and became a favorite in grassroots motorsport around the world. Its balance of affordability and capability meant that young enthusiasts often chose the Integra as an entry point into performance driving and tuning culture. The fourth generation, released in the early 2000s, continued the formula under the Acura RSX name in North America. While larger and more refined, it retained the focus on high-revving VTEC engines and sharp handling. It maintained a strong presence in both professional motorsport and the tuning community.